Interesting, this chapter of 49 is a chapter, an extra chapter that we say in the house of a mourner. We say it in the house of a mourner. And the reason this chapter was picked to say in the house of a mourner, because it really tells you straightforward what life is all about and what the human nature is all about and what life should be all about. Interesting enough, remember when we first started our Tehillim classes, I told you that Tehillim was put together by King David, but there were many more authors in the Psalms themselves. The Psalms themselves were written by 10 different people. Some of the Psalms were written by the sons, believe it or not, my friends, the sons of Korach. The sons of Korach wrote some. Now, Korach was not a good guy. Korach was not a friendly guy. Korach was, remember, as I said this morning by davening, Korach was a very smart person. Korach was more of a Talmid Chacham. Korach was from the family of Moshe Rabbeinu, a cousin. Korach was one of the richest in those days. Korach was one of the richest in those days. Korach had it all. And today we're going to learn a psalm that was written by the sons of Korach. Imagine. And this psalm of the sons of Korach is the psalm that we say in the house of a mourner. And the reason for this is, as you'll soon see what it's all about, what they did, the sons of Korach, who wrote this, they implemented in their lives what they saw in their father and what they learned what real life is all about, that they shouldn't do. It's an amazing, amazing thing. So that it starts off as follows. 49. Lam Natseach L'nei Korach Mizmar. A song prophetically composed for the choir master by the sons of Korach, to be sung in the holy temple. So remember, Korach was Korach. We all know the punishment Korach had with all those cronies. They were swallowed up in the ground. They rebelled against the greatest leader, Moshe Rabbeinu, and yet he merited to have sons who wrote Tehillim. It's unbelievable. Which we see, my friends, another sign that no one's ever lost. It's an amazing, amazing thing. If we analyze and dissect every part of Yiddishkeit, we learn so many, many lessons. It's unbelievable. And by the way, we don't learn the lessons from the real big things. As we'll soon see in the chapter, it's the little things that count. It's the little things that we learn from. They merited that their song, Korach's sons, had their song sang in the temple with the Levim. Don't forget, Korach was a Levi. Okay, and he writes as follows: Shimu zos kol ha'amim. Hear this, all the nations of the world. Hazinu kol yeshvei choled. We're going to go verse by verse a little bit. I never did this yet. I usually generalize a chapter or emphasize on one verse. I'm going to go verse by verse this time. Shimu, it uses two expressions in the same verse of listening. One is Shimu Zos Kol Ha'amim. Listen, hear, all the nations. Hazinu Kol Yoshrei Choled. And then it says listen. Why the two different parts? Where do we have, does anyone remember, where do we have the word Ha'azinu, to listen? And the Torah?
Hazinu is
Yeah, you're right. Right. It says in the book of Deuteronomy, from one of the last portions in the Torah, it says, Hazinu hashamayim va'adabeira v'sishma ha'aretz imrefi. Listen, O heavens, and I'll speak. Listen, hear, O heavens, and I will speak. Listen and hear earth, the words of my mouth. Why again the two expressions? Shema, just like here, shumu to listen, hazinu to listen. One is everyone who's close to me, listen up close. But this is also a message for the people that are all over the world, far away from me. They also have to listen. They also have to hear what I'm about to say. And this is the introduction of this chapter. That no matter if you're far away, matter if you're close, it doesn't matter, listen in. Because I'm about to teach you something that has to do with life. And the reason this chapter is said in the house of mourning is because this chapter tells you about life. Where's the greatest place to think about life? Two places, by the way. Not at a wedding. At a wedding, no one thinks about life. Not at a birthday party, and by the way, my friends, not at a Father's Day celebration either. Not at a Father's Day celebration. Where do we think about life? Two places, only two places. A cemetery at a funeral, and more than a cemetery, more than at a funeral, house of mourning. It's a psychological thing, because we think about the fact, and this is what this chapter is about to say, that everyone at a house of mourning is one day going to end up in the same place. That you and I, both together, me the rabbi, you the congregant, this one that's observant, that one that's not observant, all of us, all together, we're going to end up in the same place. The bottom line is, my friends, what we say is in the house of mourning, let's not take things for granted. Let's go a little further. Verse number 3. Gam b'nei Adam, also all of mankind, Gam b'nei Ish, ordinary people as well, Yachad, together, Asher ve'Evyon, the poor, the rich and the poor, which means as follows. B'nei Adam, b'nei Ish, regular lay people. B'nai Adam are higher stature people, whether it be presidents, whether it be leaders, whether it be rabbis, or regular congregants, regular people, whether it be the greatest doctors or Joe the plumber. We have no matter how much money we don't have. Listen and get this message. That's what the sons of Korach are saying. Get the message. Get the message from my dad. My dad in Chumash taught you a message, and the message was money, fame, glory means nothing. And we're going to learn about this right now. Verse number 4. Pi, my mouth, yidaber chachmais, will speak words of wisdom. V'hogos libi, and I will share the intelligent tvunais with my heart. I'm going to share with you, say the sons of Korach, what life is all about. And here we start. Ate lamoshol ozni, I too will turn my ear to a parable. Eftach bechinar bechidasi, and I will convey with a harp my prophetic riddles, which means as follows. Look at life, look at every life's experience. What's the best way when I teach something? What's the best way I teach? With a story, a parable, a story. Why? You learn the most from that. That's by the way, it's the easiest way to learn, through a story. It's parable. This parable is called life. And every experience that we experience, everything we go through in life, let's learn something from it. Let's take a message from it. The Baal Shem Tov said that anything that we see or anything that we hear is because we were meant to learn something from what we see and what we hear. Let's learn a lesson from our experiences in life. And what experiences are we talking about? Verse number 6. Lama ira b'meira. Why am I afraid of the days of trouble? In other words, why am I so concerned about what's going to be? Aval nakeve yisubeni. I treat it as unimportant as if trampling over there with my heels surround me. Right? Let me explain this. How many times do we get caught up in our own lives and trample over the things that really matter to us? We want more, he says. We get so caught up with ourselves, with our so-called selfishness, with our egos, with our cravings, with our desires, that we forget what really matters. My friends, I get so involved sometimes. I hear what goes on by families. Kids are lacking their father's love. Kids are lacking their mother's love. Fame, nothing is more important than the small things called the relationship of parents and children, of family. Nothing. I promise you that. And if we sit back, move for a minute and think about it, it's so true. We'll see if we look at it honestly, it's really so true. Verse 7, Habotchim al chelam over of oshram yishalalu. How much more so then should those who rely on their riches and are boastful of the great wealth be fearful of evil, because they are more likely to sin. That's exactly what he just said. We get so caught up in our riches. We get so caught up in everything. And we don't understand. It's worthless if we don't have the main relationships in life that we need. And this is where Korach went wrong. This is where so many leaders, rabbis have gone wrong. We get so caught up in our egos, in our names, in our money, in our materialistic lives, that we forget what really counts in life. And then when we get a little older, we pinch ourselves and it's a little too late. Let's go on. Verse number 8. Ach lo pada yivdeish lo yiten lelokim kafro. It is foolish for a person to rely on his wealth, because man cannot redeem his brother from death with money, nor can he give ransom to God to redeem himself from punishment. You know what that's saying? How many people give tzedakah? They give so much tzedakah. They're the greatest multi-billionaires. You know why they're giving tzedakah? Because they think it's going to keep them surviving a little longer. They think they're going to live forever. They think that tzedakah is what's going to redeem them. No amount of money paid is going to make a person live forever. Nothing in life is going to keep a person alive forever. The day is going to come where we're going to end up closing our eyes. And before we close our eyes, we're going to look around and think to ourselves, what have I accomplished? What have I done on this world to leave my mark? Everything goes. The money, the cars, the boats, the houses. Other people take them over. Other people this, other people that. They'll buy the house, they'll knock it down, rebuild it. Everything is gone. What remains? Our accomplishment. What keeps our name alive? Not an amount of money, not the bank accounts that we had, not the fact that we were able to stay in the office an extra 4 hours. No one's even going to talk about that. But you know, when we do come into a house of mourning, You know what's the first thing that hits your mind? What this person was like. And when we're going to go after 120 years, and people are going to be mourning after us, and people are going to come to pay their respects of nechama of their mourning, the first thing that people are going to say is, what did Yankee Orimland accomplish? That's automatically. They're either going to come and say, we have to go because, wow, he accomplished this, that, the other, da. Or they're going to say, no, we have to go just to show our face because it's only right. But the type of person he was and the type of things he did, that's what everyone remembers. No one's going to remember if I worked 12 hours a day, if I was in the office 14 hours a day. But they will remember what kind of father I was. They will remember what kind of spouse I was. They will remember what kind of cousin I was, what kind of relative I was. They will remember those relationships. So we have to think about that. Let's go on a little further. Verse number 9. People cannot redeem their souls with money because the soul is too costly to redeem. It is attainable. It is unattainable forever, even with the greatest material riches. Everyone thinks, I am untouchable. My money, my security guards, my cars, everything will protect me. And everyone has to bow to me because I am. Came the COVID virus 3.5 months ago and showed us, we're nothing. We're nobody. No one's money was able to stop the COVID virus. No one's riches were able to stop the COVID virus. No one's money was able to stop, God forbid, people to go on a ventilator. No! The riches, the cars, the boats. The boats were still for 3 months, and the economy and the stocks, nothing helped. Like Shlomo HaMelech says, Hakol Hevel Avolim. Everything is not. Everything is nothing. Everything is worthless. It's the little things, my friends. It's the little things that count. Verse number 10. People cannot redeem their soul. Can a person's wealth enable him to live forever, never to see the grave? Same theme. Nothing is going to save us. We're all going to come and give what they say one day, a din v'cheshbon, an accounting before God. And if we're going, God will one day ask us why, and we'll say, what, me? Me? Did I? And God will say, not a problem, have a seat. Remote control, right? He'll take out his remote control. This is an iPhone, so it's an remote control they're going to have up there. He's going to click on the video, and he's going to say, Yankee, this is your life. Da-da-da-da-da-da. And everything, wow, the lights, the colors, and all of a sudden Yankee's going to look and say, holy shaving cream! Oh my gosh! We're not going to be able to look at it. We think things are forgotten because who we are and what we are. God tells us, and we say this Rosh Hashanah by davening and Rosh Hashanah Yom Kippur, Adam Yesaydai Meyafar, a person, his beginning is dust, the Sefer Liyafar, he goes back to dust. The greatest, the richest, the poorest, the smartest, the greatest rabbi, Moshe Rabbeinu, the greatest leader of all leaders. We all go. For a person sees the wise people die and the foolish people perish alike, leaving their possessions for others to inherit. our kids inherit, and people take our houses and everything goes. It says, our rabbis tell us, Ein adam meis, a person does not die, v'chatzi nechasa biyadav, and he doesn't even take half of his possessions with him. I don't know of any coffins yet that have like a little safe inside of them with a padlock, that we can take our possessions, our safety deposit box. Even the safety deposit box in your banks are going to stay here. They're not going with you. Nothing at all. One last verse. Kirbam betamim mala olam. Nevertheless, they imagine in their inner thoughts that their houses will last forever, like everyone does. We're going to last forever. Their dwellings will last for generations after generations. They have proclaimed ownership over land. It's not yours. Worthwhile, or did you neglect the things that really count? And I'll conclude with a story that I've told many, many times, but it's so meaningful. A multi-millionaire passes away, and he lives in the tzava. They open up the will before the funeral, and they open up the will, and the will says, I want one thing buried with me. In my drawer, I have a new pair of socks, black socks with stripes on them. Please make sure I'm buried. I want those socks to go with me in the coffin. They come to the Chevra Kadisha, to the burial society. Now we know we're not allowed to bury anything with a person, with a body, just a body alone. And they're going back and forth, and the Chevra Kadisha says, I'm sorry, we can't. They say, this was my father's last request. And they said, find yourself a new Chevra Kadisha. We just can't, halachically. At the end, the family gave in, and they buried the body without the socks. And we know Shiva goes by, and we know the first stage of mourning is Shlosh in the first 30 days. Comes the 30 days, there's a new will to be read. And they open up the will, and one of the children reads the will at the celebration of the Shloshim. The 30 days of mourning period is over. And the will says, my dear Kindalach, by now you will have buried me, and by now you will have seen that you buried me, just me alone, which shows you one thing, that after 120 years, you can't even take with you a pair of socks. And that's why, true story, by the way, my friends. And that's why keep on giving, keep on being charitable, even when you go through rough times, hard times. There are people that go through harder times than you. Even when you are down, remember there are people that are lower than you. Keep your shuls going. Don't renege on the shuls. Make sure the shul that I went to keeps being supported. All the institutions still need the money, even though I'm not here anymore. So I'm leaving you this money so you use it properly, in the right way. Because remember one thing, if you think you're taking it with you, not even a pair of socks. We'll continue this chapter in Yetz Hashem next week. Take care, everyone. Have a wonderful day. Zai gesund.